Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ali and here I just talk to myself about books and then someone, maybe you, may not watch this at a later date. Today I am going to rewind the past week and take you on a few fun outings with me. Two of them are bookish, one of them is not, but it was the best fun ever, so I'll take you with me. Let's go. So first of all, I'm going to be taking you to my local Waterstones, which has just reopened in a new location and it's so much bigger and I love it so much. So let's go have a look around. So I hope you are enjoying the stay with me. I've done a few fun things this morning already. So first of all, I got my nails did for the Blackpink concert that I'm going to tonight, and obviously had to match the Blackpink vibes, and it'll also kind of match what I'm planning on wearing, but I'll show you that later. The other thing I did is I went round my local Waterstones. It has just reopened. It's been closed for a month because it was relocating to another bit, which is inside like a shopping mall. It looks really, really nice. So I obviously shared some videos of that. Really enjoyed it. And I couldn't go without picking up something. It was also double points because of the reopening, and yeah, I couldn't not. So first of all, I picked up The Day of the Triffids. This is like a dystopian novel. My friend was literally telling me about this either last night or the night before, when I was saying that was like in my dystopian era, had entered Will Never Leave, and she was like, oh, one of my favorites I've read is this one. I still think about it now. However, I don't know if I would reread, like if I reread it now, I wouldn't love it as much. And I was like, say less. So I bought it. I will read it. I will make up my mind. I will quickly read the blurb. When a freak cosmic event renders most of the Earth's population blind, Bill Mason is one of the lucky few to retain his sight. The London he walks in is crammed with groups of men and women needing help, some ready to prey on those who can still see. But another menace stalks blind and slighted alike. With nobody to stop their spread, the Triffids, mobile plants with lethal stingers and carnivorous appetites, seem to wipe out the survivors. Sounds fun. Yeah, can't wait to read this. And then the other one I picked up, I don't even know if this is the first in the series. I think it is. I hope it is. I need to Google. But I've been wanting to try out Joe Abercrombie for a while. I've obviously got The Devils that I got as part of the Epic Fantasy subscription from Fairy Loot. Have yet to read it, but I also keep seeing this everywhere and I think I will enjoy it. It's like grimdark, it's fantasy, epic like adventures and stuff, so I think I like it. So I picked this one up, which is The Blade itself, and I'm hoping this is the first book, but because I'm not 100% sure, I'm not gonna read the blurb just yet. I'm gonna Google it. But yeah, let me know if you've read this and what you thought about it. And then The other thing is I've been reading Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, which is the second book in the Red Rising series. I've literally got like 2 chapters left to finish, so I'm going to be doing that, and then I will slowly start getting ready for the Black Pig concert. But also I just love that I've got matching bookmarks for Red Rising. Really enjoying this, but I'll let you know once I do like a bit of a reading wrap up. However, definitely love this series so far, and I will hopefully be picking up the 3rd book this month. And another thing I want to show you actually, so the I don't know if anyone here is obsessed with like Pop Mart like I am, and Labubus, which I am. I started buying them before they became like super like popular, so at the start of the year, so maybe like January or even December, and you could easily buy them like online and stuff, and it was all very easy, and you know, you could just pop into Pop Mart in those days. But now you have to enter a raffle, and then if you are successful in the raffle, you get to go pick up your spoils at the Pop Mart store that you have selected. So I have entered the raffle like literally on a weekly basis, have never won before except last Friday, which I did. And so yesterday I went to pick up, not yesterday, Thursday I went to pick up my winnings, which was 2 of the macaroon labubus, 1 for myself, 1 for a colleague. So I haven't opened those yet because we're going to be opening them together when we see each other next at the end of September. But whilst I was there, they actually had loads of stock of loads of the other ones that I wanted, so like Crybabies, Skull Panda, things like that. And because I had to queue for like an hour and it was horrific, I am never doing that again. So I just decided to get 1 of each, so now I'm covered. And so I'll just quickly show you what I got. So first of all, this is the Impressionism series for Skull Panda, and this is the one I got. I think this one's called Dew, and she is super cute. I love that you can move the eyes for these because it's just hilarious. But yeah, so this is adorable. I love the little like star she has, nice and cute and blue. I then got a Crybaby Wild thing. This is the one that came out, and it's adorable. You can like change his little tail. And then my colleague's got a matching one, but it's like hers is white, I think. So this is the vintage Crybaby one, I think, and she's got the vanilla Crybaby. And then last but not least, I got normal Crybaby Crying Again plush toy, and I kid you not, I was so lucky. I pulled out the super secret. Like, can you imagine? Finally get my hands on a Crybaby and I pull out a super secret. So there's 2 secrets in this one, and this is the super secret. It's little naked Crybaby, but yeah, obsessed. It's got a little bunny that is also crying, and I love it. I might try and get some clothes for this one because it is in the nude, apart from like this little nappy that it's got on, but adorable. I'm not 100% sure about the like Lord Farquaad hair, but we'll make do. And just for context, this is the rest of my collection. So we've got a Monchichi, we've got another Crybaby, one of the macaroon labubus, we've got the like wintry edition of the Skull Pandas, and then we've got the Impressionism one. This is like a Powerpuff Girls Cry Again Wild series one, and then 2 of the seated labubus. This needs to go sit in a corner and think about what it's done, because oh my god. Just finished, loved it. Just got a little poopy over there. Loved it. The ending is insane. I cannot wait to read book 3, but I am going to pick up another book before this one that I will take with me on the Kindle as well to Blackpink, because I heard there's like a couple of hours to wait once you get inside, and I'm going by myself, so what a better time than to read. But yes, love this. If you like things like Hunger Games, Maze Runner, something with like action and betrayal, politics, this is definitely something you should pick up. Set in space, really enjoying it. I was not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but oh my god, that ending. Hey, so I'm ready for Blackpink. I'm gonna head off now. I've got glitter everywhere. It is dropping all over the floor. We won't talk about that. But I'm ready. I'm wearing this pink top with another pink top underneath, black cargos, and check your wet trainers, because that's the way to go. I've decided to take a couple of Labubus with me, obviously, and I've decided to read When the Moon Hatched finally, because I've been telling my friend I would be reading that for a long time. I've never picked it up. It's now time. I've put a copy on my Kindle, so let's go. So obviously last night I went to Blackpink, as you will have seen. It was so good. I would highly recommend next time they do a tour going to see them. It was like the biggest venue I've ever been in, and so whilst my seat was pretty good, it was still like just really far away, but it was so good. I loved it. I was obviously incredibly tired when I did my little check-in on the train. It was like midnight. I was so tired, and yeah, my contact lenses were making my eyes go all horrible and red, but I had so much fun. I loved it. On the train there and on the train back, I did read some of When the Moon Hatched, and I don't know how I feel about it at the moment yet. I feel like it's overly verbose in places. Like, I feel like I'm already 20% in and nothing really's happened. Well, actually something has happened now, but I feel like for how big that book is, the 20%, I don't really understand too much of it. It does have like a massive like glossary and stuff at the front of it, so maybe, I don't know, I should read that, but I don't like doing that. It seems like too much focus. Like, I like that. I feel like a book should explain that stuff so I understand it, and then it should just be like something that I refer back to if I forget, not something that I need to like learn before I start reading the book. So I am enjoying it though so far. I just don't really know where it's going. It's kind of reminded me a little bit of like Selena assassin vibes, and then the weird guy in the hood is giving like maybe Cassian vibes, like maybe he's like a cinnamon roll deep down but comes across like horrible war master. I don't really know. I'm just making this up as we go along, to be honest. I am enjoying it. I'm going to continue reading it, although at the moment I am rotting on the sofa because I'm still really tired, and I'm watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I've decided to rewatch the entire thing, so starting from season 1.
people for saying things wrong, but I have never cared how people say babble, babel. I pronounce it differently. I think depending on where I am. In the UK, babel seems more popular, so I say it that way here. Catabasis, I have received conflicting advice from classicists who are supposed to know what they're talking about. And I used to say catabasis. I think that was intuitive, but then I watched this video where it said in this very artificial sounding voice, catabasis. And that's actually how we say it at home. Bennett always pronounces it catabasis. I hate it when people make fun of people for pronouncing things wrong. I learned English mostly visually. I learned it when I was a bit older as a child, so most of my words I was learning through reading for the first time because nobody was pronouncing them around me, and I still mispronounce a lot of things, so like, don't be an asshole when you think somebody's wrong. But katabasis is the Greek word for the hero's descent to the underworld, and it can literally mean the underworld, and I took it literally. My characters do in fact go to hell, but it can also metaphorically refer to a story structure in which a character reaches the lowest of their lows. They've lost everything. They are struggling to find a reason to move forward, to keep living. They're disgusted with themselves. They feel like, they've just reached rock bottom. So metaphorically, the catabasis story structure also applies to narratives about suicide, about depression. There are catabasis narratives about the Holocaust, about addiction, and I was very interested also in this metaphorical, psychological journey. When you've reached a point in your life where you feel like it's no longer worth living, where you don't want to see tomorrow, what would it take to climb out of that? What reason would you have to discover for yourself? And I like to think I gave my characters a reason.
So you might see that I am in the exact same position that I was when I did the intro to this video, and that's because I forgot to film an intro, and now the video has come to an end. So I was going to do a little bit of a wrap up situation, and yeah, I thought I'd film that at the same time. So here we are. It is now obviously days later since I did everything that has been shown in this video. The other day I went to a Waterstones Piccadilly event, but it was held at a church in London, which was like a stunning venue and also quite funny because the book we were there to talk about was Catabasis, or Catabasis, as RF Kwang liked to say, which is a book in which two PhD students travel to hell to save their PhD supervisor's soul so that he can write them a recommendation letter for the job market because they're about to leave their PhD and need to get a letter of recommendation to go on to like the tenure track of professors into academia. So I thought that was quite funny. This is the second or third time I've met RF Kwang, and she is just so funny, so intelligent. Love listening to her talk. I actually managed to ask both her and Samantha Shannon, who was, by the way, chairing, and again, another amazing author that I love. So it was like the duo we never knew we needed, but we did. We did. They're really good together. They're actually friends in real life. Like that wasn't real life. They're actually friends, which was nice because it had a really good dynamic, really good conversation between the two. And also, as I said, RF Kwang's just like really eloquent, really funny, and her ideas are just so interesting. So it was just fascinating to hear her talk about like her inspiration and her points of reference for Catabasis, and also the fact that this was like the first book that she based on her husband, who has a PhD or is currently doing a PhD in philosophy, which is kind of like what this is based on. So there was a lot of like philosophical terminology and philosophical school of thoughts and stuff embedded in the book, whereas Arif Kwang is currently doing a PhD in language studies, which is obviously kind of like what Babel was about. So yeah, it was super, super interesting. I did get to ask them both a question, which someone recorded and it's like on TikTok, which is quite nice. Because I very, very quickly blacked out after asking that question because I was just like embarrassed, not embarrassed, but like shy, and also um I don't know, because people were watching me. I don't like it, but it was a fun question because I obviously both of them have written quite a few different genres. So Arif Kwang's done grimdark, like historical fantasy. She's done satirical contemporary. Um, she's done dark academia, and her coming up novel is another like contemporary um I don't know, slice of life type vibe. And she's also currently writing a book about World War II. So I was like, right, you've done a bunch of different genres. Um, Samantha Shannon's obviously done epic fantasy as well as dystopian. So I was like, is there any genre that you wouldn't touch or are scared to try? And for Samantha, it was sci fi, which is quite interesting because I would have thought dystopian and epic fantasy aren't like that far removed from at least some type of sci fi, but I think she meant like proper hardcore sci-fi, like I don't know, an epic space opera or something. And then Arif Kwang's answer was more about like writing children's books, but specifically like young children, because they've only got a few sentences, but they have to be interesting enough for an adult to want to read like 50 times a night, which I'd never really thought about, but yeah, that tracks. So yeah, that was fun. Had a really, really good time. And yeah, can't wait to go to some more author events, but I definitely loved that one. And then the other thing I did whilst just before attending that, actually, I think I finished it like literally on the train in, was I read When the Moon Hatched. So my friend has been begging me to read this for a long time. She actually gave me this copy because she ended up getting like one of the special editions, and I have been putting it off because I felt like it was very, very hyped and I was a bit worried. I'm not gonna lie. And I've read it and it was okay. It was okay. Like it was a fun read the last quarter. So it definitely took like 3/4 of the book for me to get like fully invested and kind of on board with it, and it started to pick up. I felt like it's quite a big book, but not too much happened until right at the end, and then like everything happened. And that was good when it did happen, and like I kind of want to read the sequel now to see what happens, but also I don't know, 3/4 of a book were like just mid. um and I don't know if it's the fact that in the back of my mind I still had how like hyped it was, and maybe that just led me to have higher expectations than what the book delivered. But the other thing I kind of struggled with in this book is there is like a 20-page glossary at the beginning. I am not for one. I'm not one for glossaries like that. I'm not. Like I need the author to do the world building, do the magic system building, character development in the book. Like that's how I like it. Those to me should just be like points of reference if I forget something, like where there's like a really big like family and you need to kind of like remember who's related to who. That's fine. I just do not have the time or patience to sit down, try and learn about a world before actually reading the book itself. Also, because it won't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me until I start reading it. Um, so I found that a little bit hard because I felt like having read the book, it still wasn't clear. One, the world, like I just felt there was definitely a lack of world building, and also the magic system and the dragons. Like they were there, they turn into moons. I don't really know. Like I just felt like there was, I don't know, everything was not explained to the level of detail that I needed to for it to be like very well developed in a book of this size. I will say I do like the main male character. He's quite fun and he's definitely too nice to this woman, but you know, whatever. Um Yeah. So I did like his character. I did like the main female character. However, I did feel like she was a bit like Selena from Throne of Glass, but not quite as good. So I think that's the other thing. I felt like this felt a lot like Throne of Glass, but just wasn't as well delivered. And Throne of Glass is like one of my favorite series, right? We've already said this. Um, so I think because I'd already read that, I just could see the similarities, but it just wasn't as well delivered. Whereas my friend read this book before she read Throne of Glass, and this was kind of like her gateway into fantasy or fantasy romance, romantasy, whatever you want to call it. Whereas for me, I'd already read quite a few books like that. So it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It wasn't bad at all, but it also wasn't great and definitely overhyped. However, having said that, I do want to read the sequel, but I might switch to paperbacks. I don't think this is the kind of book I want to keep in hardback, which is kind of what ended up happening with Fourth Wing as well. I ended up downgrading them to paperbacks because I like to keep hardbacks for like books that I really, really enjoy. Um, and or like special editions. So I just feel like I wouldn't get a special edition of this. Like it's not, I didn't like it enough for that. And yeah, I mean, I'll quickly read you the blurb because I feel like I'm gonna butcher the explanation otherwise. So, as an assassin for the rebellion, Rave's job is to complete orders and never get caught. When a rival bounty hunter shatters the world, Rave finds herself captured by the Guild of Nobles, a group of powerful fae. Crushed by the loss of his great love, Dragon Rider Khan Vaegor took the head of a king and donned his melted crown. Now, on a tireless quest to quell the never ebbing ache in his chest, a clue lures him into the capital's high security prison where he stumbles upon the imprisoned Rave. Together, they seek truths that threaten to unravel everything they knew about their world and each other. So, yeah, there's a lot of mystery. I won't lie as well. Like, the plot twists were fun, but I did see them coming a mile off. Still, I enjoyed them. Like, I did enjoy them, but they were relatively predictable. However, as I've said, it was a fun time in the end, like, as I finished it, but it definitely took me longer than it would take me usually to read this kind of book. So, make of that what you will. So, thank you for coming on this little week of fun adventures with me and for listen to me ramble on about the various books that I read this week. I'm currently reading a new book and I've gone completely non-fantasy, so it's kind of like historical fiction set in like the 1980s. It's about a young boy that goes missing from a poor black neighborhood, and it's around the time that in the US there was actually like a serial killer that was preying on young boys from those kind of neighborhoods. So I believe it's kind of inspired or based on that. So completely different genre, complete genre shift. I'm really, really enjoying it. And yeah, I'll talk about it in my wrap up at the end of the month, I'm sure. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do pop a like. If you would like to see more, please, please, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon.